Source of many of TV's early westerns, including the first adult western, Gunsmoke.
Jim and I had worked this kind of relationship out very carefully right at the very beginning of the show. We knew just exactly what we wanted to do with it. And we wanted to leave the relationship a mystery so that the audience could use their own imagination and do their own fantasies on what the relationship was really all about. And needless to say, that was one of the ingredients that made Gunsmoke a success.
I didn't think you were ever going to get here.
Hey, this saloon been open all night?
Yeah, of course it has.
Well, you know, there's an ordinance against that.
Well, yeah, I know there is. But you see, I have a real big influence with the marshal in this town.
Jim Arness, although he doesn't seem like it when you see him on film because he's playing a certain character that's in control and rather stern and serious, he's the funniest guy I was ever around.
The great Marshal Dillon, as we have known him for 19 years.
There was always a lot of laughs on that show. We'd break each other up, and very difficult to get through scenes sometimes.
Just your fork and get it there and push it down into the meat so that you got a good hold to it. And then just run your knife down. That's all you have to do, kind of sawing away there. Yeah, that's you're doing fine now. I mean, am I?
Well, with that, see, I got a mouthful, too.
There were a number of people that tested for Chester. Guy Williams was one of them, who was a good friend of mine at the time. He later played Zorro. You'd think, well, what is he doing testing for Chester? But anyway, he did, and I remember they, you know, you have to sign a contract about the money before you test because they don't want to be in the position of wanting you and not having a contract. So they offered me $300 a week for the part, and I thought, well, and I didn't have an agent at the time. I was in between agents, so I called up Guy Williams, and I said, Guy, I understand that you tested for Chester. He says, yeah. I said, what did they offer you? He said, $400. So I went back to him, and I said, I'm sorry, I can't do this for less than $400. This is okay. So I got $400 a week in the beginning playing Chester.
This was about 1954. I was under contract to him for about 2 years with Bat Jack Company. And I'd been in 2 or 3 pictures with him. I guess they offered Gunsmoke to him first, or they asked him if he'd be interested, and you know, obviously he wasn't. He was pretty busy doing what he was doing in features, you know. He recommended me for it, and went over there, and I think he put in a real pitch for me, and because, you know, I don't know if you remember then, but they were testing a heck of a lot of guys for it, all kinds of different people for the part, everybody in town practically, you know. And I'm sure that it was his influence that probably tipped it my way, you say.
Gunsmoke was first out of the gate, and it was so successful, within 3 years, you had 35 so-called adult westerns. Everybody from Steve McQueen to Jim Garner to Bonanza, all of those shows were on the air because of Gunsmoke.